All right. Welcome back, everyone. Appreciate you guys joining us here again. We are the Card Friends. Always pumped to be here with you guys. We have another awesome episode on how to save money and not get scammed in the hobby today. For those of you that are new here, Joe and I are both lifelong friends, both tech guys by day, both dads.
Both diehard collectors. And we made this podcast because we realized that there wasn't any content or helpful information for people like us. So we're here to share our tips, our tricks, and our lessons learned, and to make more card friends.
Yeah, and if you guys like what you hear here, get some value, get some laughs or entertainment, feel free to drop us a like, comment on socials. We love interacting with you guys. It's at the Card Friends on all the usual places. Again, we love interacting with you guys, so feel free to drop us some love, or if you disagree with us, drop it in the comments. We love chatting with you guys.
Today is, what's today's date, Kev? May 10th. We're one day away from Mother's Day, so shout out to all of our moms out there who literally keep everything going, being all around superheroes. So yeah, welcome back, everybody. I think this is episode 6, right, Kev?
It is. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Shout out to all the moms out there. My mom in particular, Linda, I know she's an avid listener of the show. Happy Mother's Day, Mom, and thank you, because you are the one that definitely got me into the hobby in the first place.
Dude, shout out to Kath, an absolute saint, and probably it was her gas that we were burning driving to the stores, baby. So thank you, Mom.
Moms are the best.
Yeah, they are.
We have an awesome episode for everybody today. We're going to be talking about how to avoid scams and overpaying in the hobby. But before we dive into that, Joe, because I think we have a ton of awesome stuff to talk about, let's do our opening thoughts. What's top of mind for you, man?
Top of mind for me, Kev. I just made this up today. Fish where the fish aren't, and let me explain.
Mm-hmm.
So, sales analogy is fish where the fish are, right? In this case, you want to fish where the fish aren't. Barnes and Noble's bookstore. Do you think the clientele that goes in there is going in there looking for sports cards or Pokemon cards or any type of card? Probably not, right? They offer a membership that gives you discounts if you spend X amount. So went in there last night looking for a Prism because I wanted to rip some before watching some basketball. Went to check out. And out of the corner of my eye, down on the corner, Kevin, the bottom left shelf, right? For those that don't know, Barnes & Noble's is a sneaky honey hole. Sometimes it's absolutely packed with stock of total huge variety of product, retail product at MSRP. So you can't beat it. And with the membership, you get money off. So if you have them, check them out. You might be able to even order online. I'm not sure. If you're anything like me, I need it in hand. Anyway, down on the bottom left corner, Kev, was a beautiful box of 2025 Bowman baseball. So happy Bowman release day. I grabbed one box, and that box was juiced. So another top of mind belief, firm believer that release week, release month, release day, that's where the biggest hits are. I feel like the products are front loaded. If you can get them, go get them.
Right. But you're so spot on, man. It's been my experience when products get released, that's when the biggest hits are there, right?
Oh, the Superfractor just got pulled, the 101, and then I'm like, I joked with the LCS owner yesterday. I'm like, I don't want that product anymore. Didn't the 101 get hit?
I know. Well, that part, but also just like, I think it might be a little bit of a marketing strategy. It's like front load it up a ton, let all the people post on social media, like, here it is, post on the video, and then print a ton more, and then don't have all the hits in those, and you sell a bunch, right? That don't have the hits, right? So it's like front load it to sell more. So I think that probably is like a little bit of like guerrilla marketing in some sort of way.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to think of the people that are like, behind the scenes doing that stuff. And it's all unfortunately about the bottom line and driving revenue for the companies. So
I'd love to get behind the scenes. I bet they don't disclose that information, right? You see the stuff on the side of packages that say, here are the odds.
Line,
the same for everybody. Yeah.
It's like, no, it isn't. How come all the breakers are getting all the hot cards?
Right. Yeah. One could argue it's like they're opening more, so they just have access to more, so the odds are in their favor, as they say.
Yeah. That's true.
So my opening thought for the day is I've said it in previous episodes, but I'm big back on the Pokemon scene, man. I just am obsessed. My daughter's into the TV show Gen 1, bringing back all the feels, all the memories and the nostalgia. She loves getting cards. And we actually at Barnes and Nobles, I found some 151 Scarlet and Violet and tins for $10, 2 packs, $5 a pack. I'll do that all day. That's exactly my wheelhouse, right?
I grabbed 2 of those too the same day, and I also did not know they were 151. We went to the same Barnes and Nobles, so Kevin went before me, and he was kind enough to leave some for me, and he didn't even know that I was going the same day. Later, like went 4 or 5 hours later, and there was still
I
some
didn't,
there. So nice of you, dude.
dude. I didn't know that they're 151. I just said, just give
I
me
didn't
one of
either.
those for my daughter. If I did, I may have not left you any. I probably would have taken them all for myself, to be honest. If I'm being honest.
Did you? You only got one, and you hit that Ivysaur.
Yep, I got a full art Ivysaur and a full art Giovanni. So like again,
How
I
did
think it's like a $50 and a $20 card or a $10 pack. Like
was
that's
it the same
all
pack?
day. Yeah, it was the same pack. Yeah.
So I think anytime I've got one of those alt rares or whatever, there's always been an additional sick card in there. Is
Yeah.
is that a thing?
I don't know. I think I can't pinpoint it. I wish I knew. I don't open up enough
I
to
got
really
skunked on
know, but
my 2
did you really?
tins, like literally skunked.
That the early
Well,
bird gets the worm, man.
I guess you could say skunked, but like I consider getting the same card that I already have skunked.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
guess
then I'm
so. It
like, oh, I
depends on
guess
the
I can
card.
sell it. I don't feel bad about selling it. I'm not flipping the Pokemon cards. I'm kind of like hanging on to them because
Mm-hmm.
if these ones now are anything like the first edition ones, that feels like it's something that you can hang on to versus
Yeah.
an athlete
Oh,
whose
no doubt.
career could, fizzle out due to an injury. I think you said it like on the first episode.
Yeah. Like
Was it?
Charizard's not doing anything crazy, right? We know that Charizard's not gonna, do anything off the field that could decrease his value or he's not gonna get hurt,
I
right?
thought he was a big summer volleyball guy, summer beach volleyball guy. No,
No, he's not doing anything illegal and he's not getting hurt. That's why I love investing in Pokemon for sure. And again, if you hung on to your old Gen 1 cards or base set cards rather, you could be sitting on some diamonds, right? So definitely go try to dig those up and find those. One other update on my end too is I need 2 more cards to complete my base set Pokemon collection from my childhood.
who do we need?
These are the hard ones: Blastoise and Venusaur.
Okay, I don't
Those are
have
the
your.
2 I need. Those are the 2 I need. All the advice I read on the interwebs tell me save the hollows for last. I've been slowly grabbing the hollows, and I don't want to overpay because if you go online, you could pay $100,000 for Blastoise and Venusaur, right? They're the original 3, the big dogs. I have the Charizard. That is the biggest dog, right? I think everybody knows that for the most part. Shiny Charizard. So I had him, so I'm good there. But I got to get a Blastoise and a Venusaur, and I complete my set. So what I'm going to do is next time I go to a card show, I'm going to look for a Pokemon show, a trading card show, or just a general card show, and just be on the complete hunt for a Blastoise and a Venusaur to complete the set. Because I could order it offline. I could probably find a scuffed up one, but I feel like to complete the set, I kind of want to do it in person. I don't know. Just feels like it's a more natural, better thing to do is to pick it up in the wild for me. So
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I would do the same thing to follow on with your. I could buy it on eBay and buy a scratched up one. What do the friends out there think about? So say you were to take to eBay to find this card, and the seller just does not know how to take pictures. And you're questioning if the scratches are on the top loader or the card. I wanted to bring that up and ask the community's opinion on that because for me, if a picture on eBay of a card I want stinks, I don't buy it.
So I think that's a good segue, right, to our main topic and topic of the day that we want to discuss is like, how do you avoid overpaying? How do you avoid scams? How do you avoid, what are these real world red flags that you could look out for in the world? But before we really jump into that, I definitely want to talk about times that we've gotten burned in the past because I've been burned a few times. I wanted to share it with folks and just hopefully you can learn from my mistakes like I've shared in the past. And the 2 stick out in my mind the most. Number 1 was in person, and I went into a card shop. I was with you actually. We went to a card shop. This was in the height of like the pandemic card boom, I would say. And I was just getting back in the cards. I had no idea what I was doing. And I was like, you know what? I want to get anything with the Joe Burrow rookie year.
Oh yeah.
And we went into a local card shop, and prices were nuts at the time. Basically, went in there, saw all sorts of boxes that you can buy. And for whatever reason, I got my eye on Chronicles in the Joe Burrow rookie year. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy some Chronicles football. I had no idea, A, what Chronicles was. I had no idea, B, like what I was going to be able to get in it. And all I know is it was Joe Burrow's rookie year. And C, I didn't know what the price tag was at all. It was $200 or $250. And I was like, oh yeah, just give me a Chronicles mega box for $250. And I didn't even see the price or ask. I just got up to the register and I had one of those moments. I think people have probably had this moment buying anything in life where it's like, I'm not going to back out now. I'm just going to buy it. And I bought it. And listen, I did get a Joe Burrow rookie card. So, mission accomplished there. But that box is probably worth like 30 or $40 retail. And I kicked myself thinking, like, what was I doing? Why didn't I just look up online? Why didn't I, you know what I mean? Like, why didn't I just try to at least try to negotiate or be like, hey, like, can you do any better? I just had one of those panic moments. And I feel like this could happen to a lot of newcomers into the hobby where you're at the register and you just say, you know what? I'll take it, throw it in the bag. And I probably paid like 2, 3, 400% overpriced. But, anyway.
Perfect starter, dude, right? Like perfect starter
Yeah.
pack.
Yeah. But for $250 for a
Because
mega, probably not.
I will say, dude, like honestly, the idea of it is great. You bring in a combination of sets that are out of print. They're not their own sets anymore, I think, for the most part. Or there's variations that you can't get in the product, like Prism Blacks.
Yeah, exactly. When I actually got burned is when I ordered something offline. It was
Oh yeah,
one of those online marketplaces. I was hunting Ja Morant and Zion Williamson, and I tried to do my best to get just like hanger boxes, whatever. And I bought, I think it was like 8 hanger boxes off of one of those online marketplaces. And when it was delivered to me, I noticed it was a little off because if anyone's ever bought a hanger box, it's one of those boxes. They should have wrap around it. It didn't have the plastic wrap around it.
really strong wrapper too.
Yep, didn't have
Or
it.
didn't have it?
Didn't have it. And then number 2, when I went inside, like the plastic, it's usually thick. This felt like it was like thin plastic, like brittle. Like it was almost like cellophane. And I'm like, okay, something is really off here. And I went through all 8 of them and no hits at all. Could I have just been unlucky? Maybe. But I even made a video about this and talking about this on one of my socials, just like, did I get scammed here? And the general consensus was, yeah, you got scammed. Hangers are notoriously bad with scams just because you can just crack them open, reseal them, and repackage them. So again, I always just err on the side of caution on certain marketplaces. Some certain marketplaces claim that they do the verification for you, but at the end of the day, because they're processing so many orders, their verification standards might be not fully up to snuff. Because I definitely got scammed from my perspective.
I haven't encountered any counterfeit cards in my experience yet. I'm hardly a singles buyer, right? So I think I learned from your mistake or your experience with that online marketplace. And I also bought a Chronicles Blaster 2019 Chasing Zion off of Amazon, and it didn't feel right. I didn't feel right about it. Something like felt off about it. So got to be wary.
Yeah, and it's a lot of these sites, like it's not like the site's fault per se. Some of them offer verification, but it's like it's not Amazon's fault. Like the seller comes on and the seller imposes as somebody. Like it's hard to control that. So I get it. So we can help the card friends out, not get burnt like us. Like let's talk about some real world flags, right? We can start with some of the social platforms like Facebook, Instagram, the marketplaces that are out there. Some of the things that immediately come to my mind is that like if you're getting like directly DM'd, if someone's got a brand new account, they got no photos, no posts, and mainly they start to like use some of like the, phishing or like telephone scam types of tactics on you. Like your antennas should always be up. Like if someone's messaging you out of the blue with a deal that's way too good to be true and they start to spark like fear or urgency to get a deal done quickly, like your antennas have to be up. And it's a little scary, but I think just a little due diligence around what people's accounts look like, what is their past history, is this real before you get into deals, like you'd really got to make sure that, or even asking people in communities that you can join, like, hey, is anyone to deal with this person? Um, there's a lot of red flags that you can look for on these accounts. And I always just recommend to people, like, stay cautious. Like, again, if something sounds too good to be true, that old saying, it probably is. So kind of use your judgment on the social platforms. One other red flag for me too is like payment methods. Like as soon as you hear stuff like Western Union or Zelle, right, or direct payments, like to me, it's like instant, like, oh, might have some trouble here. Like, what's going on?
I now realize how important reviews are, especially on eBay. And like you said, you got to ask for references if you're going to purchase outside of a trusted marketplace like eBay, because pieces of cardboard are easy to counterfeit. And those crooks probably are drooling over the amounts of money that people are paying for some of these things, right? Like $11 million for Paul Skeens, one of one. Lucrative business, in my opinion. I mean, the counterfeit industry as a whole globally is a $1 trillion industry.
And you brought up a good point too. Like eBay, it has reviews, right? You can actually see it. Other third-party marketplaces, they have reviews, so you can see it. When you're talking about like direct selling on social sites, like they don't have that review system built in per se. Like some of the marketplaces kind of do. What I've seen some people do is they'll put up like if you've done a deal with me, like this post, so you kind of get a little bit of a review system built in. So I guess, but I've even heard stories, and this is just something to be cautious about, where people will do legitimate deals with you, 4 or 5 deals, and like cheap. And then what they'll do is like, all right, let's do a huge deal. You trust me, you know me now, and let's do it. Let's do a 10K deal. And then they scam you then, right? So it's like, not only should you be concerned about, think about like the low and slow game where it's like, hey, like you're building trust, you believe in me now, you know who I am, and then boom, I'll scam you for like a big one later on. Like that's something you got to be vigilant for as well. Like always just have your head on a swivel, because like you said, it could be all the way up to organized crime. It could all be just like a little a kid on social media just trying to make a quick buck.
Another thing that you'll see on Facebook, people will say that the post has to be coined, right? Have you heard that, Kev?
No, I actually haven't. What does that mean? Coined?
Right. So it didn't make sense to me at first, but if you've ever seen or been in a Facebook group where there's actively deals going on, and you ever see the little like postcard or posted note with the date and the initials of the seller. So by coined, they mean prove that it's you and that it's the date. It's kind of like if you were to hold up today's newspaper in a picture to prove that it was taken on a certain day, right? It's that idea, but applied to making online transactions. Especially if you're going to be buying something and it's not in a community where that's all that they do. Ask for a coined pic, right? Of the product that you're going to buy, the seller's initials with today's date.
It's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I've heard of that concept. I just never knew it was called coin. But that's one thing you can do.
That's a weird
term. Initials, the date next to it, right? So you know it's not just a scam. That's a way to filter it all out. But I mean, still, I'm always so weary of that stuff. Like I know there's some good like Discords out there too that
you could be talking to a bot.
Yep,
right.
Could just be a bot. Yeah.
And I think you alluded to it earlier, but yeah, make sure a profile has some depth to it and wasn't created yesterday.
Spelling errors, another dead giveaway, right? All of a sudden, like, they're misspelling words, right? That's
AI photos or like photos that just look like they downloaded them off the internet. And if you want to get real crazy, do a reverse Google image search.
Yep. See if it's just like the first thing on Google. Yeah, search the card on Google and see if it's like the first hit, right?
Yep. Oh, if it's numbered, make sure it hasn't been sold before, right? Yeah, that was a story in the headlines recently.
Yep.
Or that's actually how they found someone who stole a card, I think.
Yeah.
It popped up for sale and they were like, hey, I'm the only one that had the 7 out of 10 gold.
If you're ever having second guessing this, or you're ever having doubts, hit up the Card Friends. We are, as you can tell, put the Card Friend investigators on the scene, and and we will definitely help you out because we know a lot about this stuff. We've seen it all.
Who are you going to call?
Card Friends. So obviously like there's the scamming and some of the counterfeit stuff and some of the darker parts of the hobby that we talked about. But I touched upon this a little bit earlier. Then there's also like a kind of overpaying, whether it be like local card shops, whether it be overpaying at shows, right? Products that are just overhyped in the market, that are just way overpriced. So my tip when it's something like this, and again, love all my LCSs out there. Like I totally love supporting local businesses, but sometimes like it's not the LCS that's doing it, it's the hype that's driving it, right? So if you're seeing prices of a new release like Joe talked about earlier, that's like 3, 4, 10x, like of course the local business is going to upcharge that because maybe they had to pay a lot from the market price, right? So it's not always them doing it, but I think you should always check the MSRP of a box before. And that's a simple, you walk into a shop owner says, this is $100, right? Just for round numbers. Go online, type in that box, check out what it's costing at like a Target, Walmart, or a Best Buy, and get a sense if it's okay, it's $80 in Walmart, Targets, but I'm never going to find them. You know what? I'll support a local business. I'll pay an extra $20. I value my time, and I know that I don't want to bounce around to 50 different Targets to, save $20.
You used to do that though.
Yeah, we used to do that, right?
We used to hunt. Remember we used to say it?
Card hunting. I love it. Yeah, and I still would. But but at least it gives you some information for you to make the informed decision to potentially save you money, right?
The hobby products, check like Dave and Adams, Blowout Cards, the Tops and Panini sites, and ask the shop owner if they'll honor the price, because I mean you could turn around and buy it online. These guys want to make the sale, right? If it's within their little margin, they'll do it. And you know what? If they can't, that's okay. Right? That's okay. Just leave it there. And it's not our problem that the market fluctuates so much that when a product first comes out, right, it's going to be likely at like, I think I would say an above average price. But then from there, once the big hits start getting shown and taken out, how can that box and product command the same value? And when they try to do that, just be mindful that like, there's no shot that you're going to get that hit, dude. The card's not there anymore.
No doubt. And I love your point about just asking. Sometimes it never hurts to ask, right? The worst you get is a no, and it's like, no harm, no foul. All right, no worries.
They're going to say yes. I mean, you're not, don't blow their doors off and ask for 50% off. Like, be respectful.
But they might work with you, right? They might, I've heard like, if you have cash on you, like I'll do it, right? Or like, what can you match? And hey, buy 2 and I'll do it for you, right? Like you might work a deal. Like these people are business people, right? So it never hurts to ask.
Yeah, I feel like the cash only gets a bad rap. But if you think about it, all they're doing is trying to avoid the payment credit card processing fee that's like 10%. So you multiply that 10% by, hundreds and thousands of high-end products, like that's a lot of cash, dude.
I've said this once and I'll say it again, is like also don't fall into the hype trap, right? If those products get hyped up like crazy, just be careful, right? There's a big chase. If there's a certain rookie hot that year, if some influencers just pulled something crazy for $1 million and like you want to jump in and try to pull a comparable card to that, like just try to not fall into the hype trap, because that's how a lot of people get got in the hobby for sure.
Yeah, man. And perfect example, and I think I kind of touched on it earlier, but I was at the counter at the card shop and I was going to buy the product. I still ended up doing it, but some other collector in the back, some other card friend, like that was going through the dollar bins, piped up and was like, oh yeah, did you see that 101 got hit? I had no idea. I was like, no. And like my tires deflated, because I like to believe that I can have a shot at that, dude. I always feel like I'm Charlie from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, baby, getting that golden ticket. And I was bummed for a second. And I looked at Mike and I go, I don't want it anymore then. And he was like, but he laughed, and I took it anyway. And I got good hits. There's still good hits in it. I mean, there's to each his own. I'm chasing the Notables Americans out of the Heritage set.
One of my biggest and best tips that I can give to people that are looking at whether it's cards or products for eBay and saving money, type in the card that you want, go to the filters, click on sold, and see what the sold price is over the past few days. And just do that average. What a lot of people will...
Why is the sold button not just like the first button that you can press in the eBay app? Why do you have to open and go to more? Who's the product designer over there? Because I would love to talk to them.
And the reason I say all this, though, is because what a lot of people will do is they'll look at the listing and the listing price. So, for example, say I want to sell, one of my Pokemon cards. I list it for $1,000, right? I don't do any research. I just throw it up for $1,000, and you search it. You see it's there for $1,000. That doesn't. You can list anything you want on eBay for whatever price you want, but that doesn't mean it's what the market's going to pay for it. So you need to be hitting that sold button, because that sold button is going to tell you what the market's going to pay for it.
Kev, but what if I had this problem last night where I my first Bowman Blaster, I hit Charlie Cohen, top rookie in the set, numbered out of like 199. Beautiful refractor first Bowman.
Mm-hmm.
There's no comps. So I would be the guy that has to set the price. What do you do then?
What I typically do in that situation is I look at a comparable rookie. So whatever the number 2 rookie is, see if any of those have sold, and just kind of go down the list and just try to find
nothing though. The product came out like 2 days ago. So it's like, do I wait or do I take a shot at? So mine's out of 199. Out of 499 sold for $70. So do I like 4x the price or something like that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you put up to auction, right? And let the.
I don't like that. I don't. No way, dude.
Oh, that's how you make a lot of money, man. You could have it put. Well, do
it
it.
Kills me when you see like a beautiful rookie sold. And I think that messes stuff up. Like for $1, like it would be a dream.
You could do a reserve price. Yeah. See, I could go. Well, maybe I'll do a whole eBay session.
No, dude, I just wrote that down. I think we should. I would love to hear your process for listing, and you actually showed me your process for listing, because I was afraid to start using eBay because I felt like it's overwhelming, and you walked me through your whole listing process, and I'm still figuring stuff out and finding stuff. Like, I used to always think that you could only list a card based off of a sold comp, sell one like this. There's 3 buttons on the top right. You can get any card, doesn't have to be a sold comp, and you can sell one like this, and it populates everything for you. And then you get to the end and it calculates the average comp for you. For the longest time, I was typing in every card name. Now I take a picture of it. I would say like 30% of the time finds the right card, but saves me time still.
No doubt. And I think that's, yeah. So let's definitely follow up with that one on the card friends for sure. So let's wrap this up and kind of land this plane again. So our general advice, don't rush, ease into it. Get informed, right? Make sure you're always using good services like PayPal, no middleman. If something seems off, just walk away, right? Use your gut. I feel like your gut instinct in a lot of these cases, like if something's too good to be true, again, it probably is, right? Any other tips you could wrap this up with too?
We don't want to see any of our card friends get scammed or overpay for anything. So like we said, do some due diligence. Just make sure to take a second look at the profile if you're buying outside of a reputable marketplace. Reviews are king. So go and make sure to review the reviews of the seller that you're going to give your hard-earned money to.
Totally agree. All great tips. And if you made it this far, thank you all again for the support. Don't forget to follow us on all socials at The Card Friends. Check us out on YouTube too. We do a live cast of this as well. So feel free to check us out if you want to see us in video format. But like we always say, appreciate you guys, and we are all card friends here. Catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.